Alma sees the kiss. Ennis and Jack haven't seen each other in 4 years. 4 years of marriage, kids, pretending that summer on Brokeback didn't rewire everything inside them. Jack sends a postcard. Ennis bolts down the stairs and kisses him with 4 years of suppressed desperation. They're not thinking, they're not careful, and Alma sees it. Ennis's wife steps outside and watches her husband kissing another man. Michelle Williams plays this with devastating restraint. Her face just collapses. She retreats inside, says nothing, and carries the secret for years, watching Ennis leave on fishing trips with Jack, knowing exactly what those trips are. What people forget, their boss Joe Aguirre had already caught them on the mountain, watched them through binoculars for 10 minutes, never said a word, but when Jack came back for work the next summer, turned away. No job for guys who stem the rows. They thought they were invisible. They were never invisible. Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal forgot the most basic rule of hiding. Check who's watching. I would kiss you if I could. Elio and Oliver have finally crossed the line. They're walking through town in northern Italy, close, electric, completely wrapped up in each other. Oliver looks around, checks the street, sees people they know.
I would kiss you if I could.
6 words containing an entire universe of pain. They're in public in a small Italian town in 1983, and the risk is real. The irony? Elio's parents already know. His mother later suggests he join Oliver on his trip to Bergamo. His father delivers that legendary monologue about not numbing your feelings. They see everything. But on this street, Oliver and Elio don't know that yet. So 6 whispered words replace what should have been a kiss. More romantic and more devastating than any actual kiss in the film. The red light at the speakeasy. 1950s Washington, D.C., the lavender scare. The federal government is systematically firing anyone suspected of being gay. Hawk Fuller, played by Matt Bomer, takes Tim Laughlin, played by Jonathan Bailey, to a gay speakeasy. There's a red light by the door. When it flashes, police are coming. The music dies. Men who were just dancing and holding each other separate instantly. They grab drinks, find corners, become strangers. Sanctuary to survival mode in 2 seconds. Hawk barely flinches. He's practiced at this. But Tim, devout Catholic Tim, who works for Senator McCarthy, is white as a sheet. Jonathan Bailey plays the fear with his entire body. False alarm. The music restarts. Men find each other again. But that collective breath hold captures something no dialogue ever could. The exhausting cost of existing in a world where your love is literally criminal. The morning after the beach. Everyone talks about Chiron and Kevin's beach scene, but it's what happens the next day that belongs on this list. The night before was sacred, 2 boys alone on a Miami beach, their first intimate moment, shot in moonlight and silence. Then morning comes, and morning means school, and school means the rules of black masculinity in Liberty City, where being perceived as soft can get you killed. Chiron walks in carrying last night on his face, then comes the gut punch. Terrell pressures Kevin into hitting Chiron, keep hitting him until he stays down. Kevin, the same Kevin who held him gently hours ago, punches him repeatedly in front of everyone. Ashton Sanders plays this, and it's not the physical pain that registers, it's betrayal. Chiron wasn't caught in the act, but the vulnerability the night before created, the softness it put in his eyes, the world caught that and punished him for it. Sandra follows them to the Gloucester. Jamie and Stay live next door to each other on a London council estate. Something's developed between them, and they work up the courage to visit a gay pub called the Gloucester, found in a copy of Gay Times that Jamie nervously shoplifted. For the first time, they see that being gay is actually a life you can have. But Sandra, Jamie's mother, played by Linda Henry, has followed them. She sees her son walk into a gay bar, and the truth hits her like a truck. The tension is unbearable because Sandra is volatile. Single mom, sharp tongue, unpredictable temper. Jamie has no idea she knows. When the confrontation comes, it's messy and loud and real. But Beautiful Thing earns its title. Sandra accepts Jamie. Those 2 boys slow dance in the courtyard to Mama Cass while Sandra stands guard. Defiant, protective. But that moment she stood outside that pub watching her son's secret unfold, heart-stopping. If you're enjoying this video, take a second and hit that join button to become part of the PridePlay family. It really helps us keep making content like this for you. All right, back to the list. Behind the One-Way Glass. Hitchcock-level tension disguised as a love story. Omar, a young British Pakistani man, and Johnny, a neo-fascist skinhead played by Daniel Day-Lewis, are running a laundrette in 1985 London and sleeping together. Omar's conservative family would disown him. Johnny's racist crew would destroy him. The almost caught scene happens in the laundrette's back room. Omar's uncle and associates are out front. Customers are doing laundry, normal life on one side of a one-way mirror. On the other side, Omar and Johnny. The audience sees both worlds simultaneously, the mundane and the forbidden, separated by glass. Daniel Day-Lewis brings this incredible tenderness completely at odds with the violent skinhead the world sees. The one-way mirror is the closet made literal. That glass never breaks in the film, but you spend the entire scene convinced it's about to. Gabe walks in. Zach is a young surfer and artist stuck in San Pedro, California, raising his nephew because his sister can't get it together. Then Sean shows up, his best friend Gabe's openly gay older brother. They start surfing together. One night, Sean kisses him. Zach panics, runs, tries to go back to his girlfriend, can't. Eventually gives in. They start secretly spending nights together at Sean's parents' beach house while Gabe is away at college. Then Gabe comes home early. Zach and Sean are in bed when they hear the front door. Zach hides in the bathroom while Sean distracts his brother and Zach sneaks out. Trevor Wright plays this with visceral terror. Not just about being caught with a guy, but being caught with your best friend's brother. The cherry on top? Next time Gabe sees Zach at work, he notices Zach is wearing Sean's shirt. The evidence is literally on his body. This scene captures something specific. Sometimes it's not about homophobia. It's about not being ready. Being afraid of being known before you know yourself. The Knock at Clive's Door. E.M. Forster wrote this novel in 1913, but it wasn't published until after his death in 1971. A story about two men in love was simply too dangerous to release in his lifetime. That tells you everything about the world this film lives in. Set in Edwardian England, where homosexuality was a criminal offense, Maurice Hall, played by James Wilby, falls for fellow Cambridge student Clive Durham, played by Hugh Grant. Their romance unfolds behind closed doors at the university, late-night visits to each other's rooms, whispered conversations, and constant paralyzing fear. One night, Maurice comes to Clive's room. They share an intimate moment, and then a knock at the door. Someone's outside. The terror on their faces is immediate and absolute. At Cambridge, this isn't social embarrassment, it's criminal prosecution, the same laws that destroyed Oscar Wilde. Every creak of the floorboards, every approaching footstep could mean the end of everything, and the weight of that fear eventually wins. Clive becomes so terrified of discovery that he suppresses his feelings entirely, marries a woman, and retreats into respectable society, leaving Maurice devastated. Maurice ultimately finds love with Alex Scudder, the gamekeeper on Clive's estate. But those Cambridge scenes, two young men in love, frozen with terror at a knock on the door, remain some of the most suffocating, almost caught moments in queer cinema. The Phone Call, 1962, Los Angeles. George picks up the phone and learns that Jim, the man he's loved for 16 years, is dead. It's Jim's cousin who calls. Make sure to mention the funeral is family only. Colin Firth's face is a masterclass in suppressed devastation. He can't scream, can't collapse, can't say that was the love of my life because the person on the phone doesn't recognize that love as real. He hangs up, goes to work, teaches his classes, pretends the center of his universe didn't disappear. Tom Ford directs with a devastating visual trick. Color drains from George's world except in moments of genuine connection. Gray when performing normalcy, warmth when he's real. George's almost caught isn't one scene. It's an entire life spent hiding. And the cruelest punishment? When Jim dies, George can't even mourn him publicly. Johnny lets Georgi stay. We're ending with the quietest, almost caught moment on this list. And somehow, the most powerful. Johnny Saxby is an angry, closed-off Yorkshire farmer. Drinks too much, picks fights, hooks up with men at livestock auctions but never lets anyone close. Then Gheorghe, a Romanian migrant worker played by Alex Sakarianu, arrives for lambing season. They start a physical thing, rough, no feelings. Then one morning, Johnny wakes up next to Georg in the barn. And he stays, doesn't bolt, doesn't put walls back up. Josh O'Connor plays this with decades of rural repression in every muscle. His body fights the urge to run, but he stays. They're on his family's farm, his grandmother is in the house, his ailing father could walk in. In tight-knit rural Yorkshire, being discovered with a man, a foreign migrant worker at that, would be devastating. But the real thing Johnny's almost caught doing, being vulnerable, being soft, in his world, that's more dangerous than being gay. Director Francis Lee grew up on a sheep farm in Yorkshire himself. He understood that coming out doesn't always need words. Sometimes it's just lying still next to someone when every instinct tells you to run. Which scene hit you hardest? Drop it in the comments.